Dakta, karibu sana mtazamaji wa Shifaa Online TV. Kwa mara nyingine tena tumeweza kurudi na programu yetu ya Shifaa Online Learning, ikiwa kwa sasa baada ya mapumziko mafupi tunarudi na somo letu la Kiingereza, ama tunasema ni somo la English kwa wale wanafunzi wa shule ya msingi au shule ya primary. Tunakuomba uweze kuwa makini, jiweke tayari kwa daftari lako na kalamu yako ili uweze kwenda kufaidika na masomo haya ya leo. Kumbuka ya kwamba masomo haya yameletwa kupitia udhamini wa Shifaa Muslim Youth Initiative, vile vile kupitia Shifaa Online TV. Usisahau Radio Salam Kenya na vile vile ofisi ya Senator wa Mombasa Mohamed Faki. Tunakuomba uweze kuungana nasi ili uweze kwenda kufaidika. Shukrani.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome viewers to the primary English lesson. I'll be your facilitator. Call me teacher Habiba Farid. So we are having an English lesson. Let me just quickly write So in today's lesson, we are going to talk about the parts of speech in the English language. And we have about 8 parts of speech in English, being nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. Now for today's lesson, we are going to talk about verbs, and precisely we are going to look at verb tenses. So one quick question we'll ask ourselves, what is a verb? What is a verb? A verb is a word or a combination of words that indicate actions, state of being, or a condition. So we've said that we are looking into the verb tenses. What is the meaning of a verb tense, or what is a tense? A tense, this is a verb form that shows the time of an action, an event, or a state by a change in its form or by the use of a helping verb. So verb tenses these are verb forms that shows the time of an action, an event, or a state by the change in its form or by the use of a helping verb. So these examples, we have words like works, will call, is standing, have gone, or looked. Now in the language of English, we have 3 main verb tenses. We have 3 main verb tenses. These are the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. Now the present tense talks of actions or events that are happening at the moment. The present tenses talk of events or actions that are happening at the moment. We have the second type of verb tense, which is the past tense. The past tense talks of actions that have happened before, and the future tense talks of actions that are yet to happen, or actions that will happen into the future. So today we are going to look at the first kind of verb tense, that is the present tense. When you're told a present tense, what is a present tense? This is a tense that is expressing an action that is currently going on, or it is habitually performed, or a state that currently or generally exists. So simply we can also say that it is a verb that describes actions happening right now, or actions that are continuous. Under the verb tense, present tense, we have 4 categories in this present tense. Now the first category is the present simple tense. We have also the second category as the present continuous tense. The third one is the present perfect tense, and lastly we have the present perfect continuous tense, or which can also be called present perfect progressive tense. So let us look directly at the present simple tense. That is the first category, the present simple tense. This present simple tense, it is used for actions that are done always or as a habit. And in the simple present tense, we use the base form of the verb for the first person and the second person, both in singular and in plural. We will notice that in speech, when we are talking of the first person or the second person, the verb in the present simple tense remains the same. It does not change. Now, how do you know this is a first person or a second person in a speech? For instance, we have a statement like, I take tea. I take tea. Now, the word here, I'm going to underline this word, the word I. This is what will show us that we are talking of a first person in a speech. A first person in a speech is represented by the word I. And look at the verb in this statement, I take tea. My verb here in this statement is the word take. The word take. And you'll notice that the verb has remained the same. I have not changed it in any manner or added any other helping verb. Now let us look at the second person in a speech. How do you know this is a second person in a speech? For instance, you have a statement like, you take tea. You take tea. I'm going to underline this word, you. So you'll see that this word you here represents the second person in speech. This represents the second person, and here we have said that the I represents the first person. So in present simple tenses, the verbs for the first person and the second person remains the same in singular and in plural. So this I take tea or you take tea, these are singular statements whereby their plurals are made, like for I, we will use we, and for you, we will use they. So we'll say we take tea or they take tea. This is a plural statement using the first person and the second person in a speech. Now when it comes to the third person in a speech, under the present simple tenses, the third person's singular takes an S at the end of the verb. The third person takes an S at the end of its verb. The third person is represented by words like he or she. So we can say that he or she takes tea. He or she takes tea. Now this shows us that we are talking of a third person. So you'll see that our base verb form here has changed. Remember we said in the present tenses, this can be shown either by changing the base verb form or by using another verb or a helping verb. So in this category, the base verb form takes an S at the end when we're talking of a third person in speech or in a sentence. So the next thing we'll look at are the uses of a simple present tense or the present simple tense. How is this used? So I'm just going to list the uses, and then you're going to write down some example sentences so that we can be able to identify how each sentences which each sentence is representing each use. Now the first use of a present simple tense is that it is used for habits, or it is used to show habits. Number two, it is used for repeated actions or events. It is used to show repeated actions or events. Number three is that it is used for general truths or facts. It is used for general truths or facts. Number four, it is used for instructions or directions. It is used for instructions or directions. And lastly, it is used for fixed arrangements. It is used to show fixed arrangements. Now let me write a few example sentences here that will guide us into knowing how each use has been put to practice. Example number one, he drinks tea for breakfast. He drinks tea for breakfast. Now this example sentence is showing us a habit. The habit of this person is that for every breakfast he has to drink tea. Number two, it rains every afternoon in the hot season. It rains every afternoon in the hot season. Now, this example sentence is showing us the use for repeated actions or the use for repeated events, meaning that in every hot season that comes during the afternoons, we're going to have, or we are going to experience rainfall. Number three, example three, water freezes at 0 degrees. Water freezes at 0 degrees. Now this example sentence is showing us a fact or a general truth. In general truth, there's nothing much that can be altered in that. So there's no way we can change the freezing point of water. Water always freezes at 0 degrees. That is a fact. My fourth example, his mother arrives tomorrow. His mother arrives tomorrow. Now this kind of sentence shows us a fixed arrangement. This kind of sentence shows us a fixed arrangement. Now for my last example, my board is too small, so I'm just going to say it right away. Open the packet and pour the contents into hot water. Open the packet and pour the contents into hot water. This example sentence is showing us the use for instructions or directions. When we are, this is an instruction somebody is given to open the packet and pour the contents into hot water. So probably it could be maybe a recipe for making something. So before you could do that, you're supposed to open the packet and then you pour the contents into hot water. Now let us look at the second category. The second category of the present tenses. We have said that we have about 4 categories. The second category is the present continuous tense. So that is my category B. Present continuous tense. What is a present continuous tense? This is a tense that indicates an action or a condition is happening right now. It happens frequently and may continue into the future. So usually they use a helping verb. They use a helping verb in the present tense, and then we add an ing to the base form of the verb. We add ing to the base form of the verb. For instance, you have a verb like talk. We'll have to add ing to the base verb form, then it becomes talking. Like drive, driving, write, writing, etc. And remember we said that they use a helping verb. They use a helping verb. So in this category, the helping verbs that are used here are the am, is, and are. In this category, we use helping verbs, am, is, and are. So let us look at the uses of the present continuous tense. How is this used? 1, it is used to describe an action that is going on at this moment. For instance, when I say that I am standing. Standing, you will notice that we have added ing to the verb form stand, and I am standing. Number 2, it is used to describe an action that is going on at this moment of period of time. It describes an action that is going on at this moment of period of time. For instance, like a trend. Number 3, it is used to describe an action or an event in the future which has already been planned or prepared. It describes an action or an event in the future which has already been planned or prepared. Now, for you to make any future plans, you need to prepare prior to your plan. Let's say you want to go on a holiday, maybe to a foreign country. So before you're able to do that, you have to book your flight tickets, you have to book for your accommodation prior to your travel date. You have to plan everything before you can travel. So in this category, in the present continuous tense, it also helps us to describe actions or events that are going to happen in the future but have already been planned or prepared. Use number 4 is that it is used to describe a temporary event or a situation. It is used to describe a temporary event or a situation. Now, this is a situation or an event that is subject to change at any given time. It's not a permanent condition, or it's not a permanent situation. It's subjected to change at any moment. Lastly, it is used with words like always, forever, and constantly to describe and emphasize a continuing series of repeated actions. Now let us look at the example sentences very fast. My first example is you're using the internet. You're using the internet. Now, in this kind of sentence, it is showing an action that is happening at the moment. So wherever you are watching this video, you must be using your internet to be able to access Shifaa Online TV for you to get this content. So currently, or at this moment right now, you are using the internet. That is what we mean by showing actions that are happening at the moment. Example 2. More and more people are becoming vegetarians. More and more people are becoming vegetarians. Now, this kind of sentence is showing us an action that has been going for a period of time or a trend. Maybe in the past, people were not so much into using vegetables, but maybe because of health factors, they have to use vegetables. So that is why more and more people are becoming vegetarians. This example shows us a trend. Number 3, we are going on holiday tomorrow. We are going on holiday tomorrow. Now, this kind of sentence is showing us an action or an event in the future which has already been planned or prepared. My 4th example, the weather forecast was good, but it's raining at the moment. The weather forecast was good, but it's raining at the moment. This is showing, or it is describing, a temporary event or a temporary situation. The day started well, but at this moment of time, it is raining. So this kind of weather is subject, or it's due to change at any time. It might stop any time, and the weather goes back to normal. The last example is what we are going to use to show emphasis on a continuous or a continuing or a repeated action. For instance, when we say he is constantly complaining about his younger brother. He is constantly complaining about his younger brother. Now, this is used to show emphasis on a continuing series of repeated actions. So let us look at our third category of the present tenses. Now, this is what we call the present perfect tense. But that should be my category C. Present perfect tense. What do we mean by a present perfect tense? Now, this is used in reference to actions that have just been done and completed at an unspecified time. So in this category, the exact time is not really important because we cannot use specific time expressions such as yesterday, 1 year ago, or when I was a child, for that matter. So here we use unspecific time expressions such as ever, never, once, several times, before, already, or yet. Now, this is formed, the present perfect tense is formed by using has or have with a past participle this kind of the present perfect tense is formed using has, have, and a past participle. So let us look at the uses of the present perfect tense. 1, it is used to describe experience. It is used to describe experience. Number 2, it is used to describe change over time. It is used to describe change over time. Thirdly, it is used to list accomplishments of individuals and humanity. Number 4, it is used to talk of an uncompleted action you're expecting. So what do we mean when we say that we are talking of an uncompleted action that you're expecting? So in this kind of use, it suggests that we are still waiting for an action to happen. The action is not yet complete, but we are still waiting for the action or for the action to be completed or for something to happen to that action. Number 5, it is used to talk about multiple actions at different times. It is used to talk about multiple actions at different times. Now in this use, it suggests that the process is not yet complete and more actions is possible. The process could be complete or maybe not yet complete, and more actions are also possible. Now let us look at the example use in sentences. Now, quickly before I just go into the example, we've said that this present perfect tense is formed using the has or have. Now, when we are using have, we'll use this for something that is in singular form, and the have is used for plural form or maybe for the past. For instance, when we say, number 1, he has never traveled by train. He has never traveled by train. This kind of sentence, it is used here to describe an experience. So an experience, this is something that you might have been into contact with. So when we say he has never traveled by train, it means that this person has not come into contact with the traveling using a train. Example 2. You have grown since the last time I saw you. You have grown since the last time I saw you. Now, this example sentence is describing change over time. Now, for instance, these two people have met after like about 10 years maybe. Now, I've seen this person, I've never seen this person for the last 10 years. And by that time, I left this person as a child, or maybe it was just still a young toddler. So when we come to meet again, because there is change over that time, we'll say that you have grown since the last time I saw you. You have grown since the last time I saw you. Number 3, let me write this one down. Man has walked on the moon. Man has walked on the moon. This sentence is used to list accomplishment. This sentence is used to list accomplishment. Now, an accomplishment, this is an action that has been successfully completed. An action that has been successfully completed. That is why we say man has walked on the moon as a list of accomplishments of what man has achieved successfully. Number 4, James has not finished his homework yet. James has not finished his homework yet. This example sentence is talking of an uncompleted action that we are expecting. Now, having used the word yet at the end of this sentence makes it what we said, that this kind of sentences usually suggests that an action has not been completed, but we're still waiting for another action to happen. Now, very fast, because of time, let me finish onto my last category of the present tenses. That is the present perfect continuous tense, or what we call the present perfect progressive tense. This is called the present perfect continuous tense. This kind of verb tense, this is a verb tense that is used to show that an action started in the past and has continued up to the present moment, and it usually emphasizes about the duration or the amount of time that an action has been taking place. So this is quite different from the present perfect tense, where we said that we don't give much emphasis on the amount of time that has been used. So usually this one is formed using has, have. It is formed using has, have, with been, and a present participle. This is usually formed using has, have, with been, and a present participle. Example, I have been waiting here for the last 2 hours. I have been waiting here for the last 2 hours. Now, going back to our definition of the present perfect continuous tense, we said that in this kind of tense, we usually emphasize about the duration or the amount of time an action has been taking place. This kind of tense is used, one, to show duration from the past until now, and it can also be used with recently, lately, without the duration. So when we're using this kind of tense and we do not want to use the time, we will use words like lately and recently. Example used in sentences. Number one, we can say they have been talking for the last 2 hours. They have been talking for the last 2 hours. So in this category, we always have to use the time. We have to indicate the amount of time that has been used. James has been teaching at the university since June. James has been teaching at the university since June. What have you been doing for the last 30 minutes? What have you been doing for the last 30 minutes? Recently, I have been feeling really tired. Recently, I have been feeling really tired. And my last example, she has been watching too much television lately. She has been watching too much television lately. So just to wind up, let us remind ourselves what we've discussed. One, we have discussed the 3 main verb tenses in English language, which is the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. Remember, we said that present tenses express actions that are currently going on, or they are habitually performed, or a state that is currently or generally existing. Now, we also said that the present tenses are categorized into 4 groups. That is the present simple tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and the last one, the present perfect continuous, or which we said can also be called the present perfect progressive tense. Thank you very much for viewing us. I hope this lesson is going to be beneficial to you. And remember, as I've said, I've been your teacher or your facilitator, Habiba Farid. Thank you.
Shukran sana mwalimu wetu wa somo la Kiingereza kwa wale wanafunzi wa shule za primary. Basi nafikiri tumefika mwisho wa tamati ya program yetu ya online learning ya leo, na inshallah tuweze kusema kwamba kawaida lililo na mwanzo halikosi kuwa na mwisho. Kwa hivyo tumefika kilele cha program yetu ya leo ya somo la Kiingereza kwa wanafunzi wa shule ya primary. Inshallah tunakuomba uungane nasi kesho ili uweze kufaidika kwa masomo mengine. Shukran.